The top stories: East African military leaders called upon stakeholders to formulate mechanisms to overcome security problems in the region. And Cuba expresses need for African representation in the UN Security Council. Welcome to EBC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism, with the latest news highlights of the hour. I am Tabitha John. Do stay with us. The Ethiopian National Dialogue Commission, ANDC, announced the successful completion of Agenda Gathering Consultative Chapter in Gambela region, held for the last 1 week. Representatives of all communities, political parties operating in the region, religious institutions, civic organizations, government bodies, and prominent personalities participated at the consultation. The stakeholders have discussed thoroughly and gathered agenda items that they believe are important for further deliberations at the next level of the national dialogue. On the occasion, commissioners of ANDC, Melaku Wildemariam, said that the agenda gathering consultation held for the last 1 week in the region has been successfully completed. After the conclusion of the consultation, the identified agenda items were submitted to the Council of Ethiopian National Dialogue Commission. The Ministry of Women and Social Affairs of Ethiopia, MOSA, and the China Foundation for Rural Development, CFRD, joined forces to implement a project aimed at uplifting the lives of the poor and vulnerable members of society in 7 major development fields. This agreement, signed in Addis Ababa today, which marks the second phase of their cooperation framework, highlighting their dedication to making a positive impact on the lives of those in need, MOSA stated. The signing ceremony, Minister Ergoge Tesfaye of the MOSA emphasized the long-standing relations between Ethiopia and China in economic, social, and political aspects. She expressed confidence that the joint project would significantly contribute to Ethiopia's efforts in supporting vulnerable citizens. Ms. Yin Chian, the country director for CFRD Ethiopia, assured that the foundation would offer the required assistance and support in expanding school meal services to rural areas, providing education materials for students, and installing solar-powered renewable energy sources in underserved schools, among others. Military leaders of different East African countries called upon stakeholders to formulate mechanisms to overcome internal and external challenges of the region. Approached by EBC World, military leaders from South Sudan and Tanzania pinpointed the necessity of regional integration for the realization of stable East Africa. Johannes Fentahun has the following report.
East Africa is one of the unstable regions of the continent. The instability insurged in different time and corners of the region are causing loss of human life and damaging properties. Many agree that overcoming these challenges has paramount importance for the future of each nation. Speaking to EBC, military leaders in the region underscored the need for regional efforts on solving these challenges.
The internal challenges, civil wars all over the East Africa. There is civil war in South Sudan. There is civil war in Ethiopia. There is civil war in Sudan, and there is civil war which is the Shabab are causing Abu to Somalia, and then this is a great challenge which needs all the effort, the regional efforts, to come up with a mechanism to solve those internal problems.
Cooperation among East African nations is also one means the military leaders recommended for successful insecurity containment.
One of the mechanisms is like this, where we have attended this course together with East African officers from different countries. So this makes us that the cooperation will be together because we work together. So if we have attended together a course like this one, it means that one day we will be working together, we cooperate together. So this one we will minimize or we will mitigate some of the threats which are being facing the East African countries.
According to the military officers, African leaders should work together to tackle external challenges in the international political system.
The way African render the diplomacy is not matching the African interest, because if they don't unite efforts, then now the big powers, they always play and maneuver around them, and then they divide them, and then now division is a sign of weakness. So for African leaders, they have to unite and then make one voice, talk with one voice, say that their issues are heard, and then everything is solved amicably at the international level.
Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Cuba, Elio E. Rodriguez Perdomo, told the Ethiopian news agency that Cuba expressed strong support for the reform of the United Nations Security Council, UNSC, emphasizing the need for better representation of Africa and Latin American regions. Tigis Sarnis has the following account from the Ethiopian news agency.
Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Cuba, Rodriguez Perdomo, underscored Cuba's commitment to the democratization of United Nations, particularly the Security Council. However, he pointed out that the Security Council requires significant changes to reflect the current global landscape. The Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs advocated for an expansion of both permanent and non-permanent memberships of the Security Council.
Y respecto al Consejo de Seguridad, favorecemos la ampliación de sus miembros, tanto permanentes como no permanentes.
And in terms of the Security Council, Cuba favors the widening of the memberships, the non-permanent and also the permanent members.
Es importante que el Consejo de Seguridad sea un órgano más representativo, equilibrado, que refleje mejor la composición del mundo actual.
For us, it's really important that the Security Council shows more representation and equality, and
que refleje mejor las condiciones del mundo actual.
And that reflects more the conditions of the current world.
Highlighting the underrepresentation of certain regions, Perdomo noted that regions like Latin America and Africa are really badly represented in this council, he noted.
Regiones como América Latina y África están muy mal representadas en el Consejo de Seguridad.
Regions like Latin America and Africa are really bad represented in this council.
De manera que somos favorables a la ampliación de los miembros permanentes y no permanentes provenientes de Asia, África y América Latina y el Caribe.
So we favored the widening of the membership, permanent and non-permanent, from other regions of Asia, Africa, and Latin America and the Caribbean.
Perdomo emphasized the importance of making the Council more representative and equitable, reflecting the realities of today's world.
And finally, Ethiopia's Minister of Trade and Regional Integration, Kasahuun Gofe, revealed that more than 14 million liters of edible oil have been purchased and are prepared for distribution. The government has been putting more industrial and agricultural items on the market in an attempt to balance supply and demand for goods. A delegation comprised from federal and regional states and led by the minister visited customs stations in Adama, Oromia Regional State on Sunday to see the activity of consumer goods being imported into the country. On the occasion, Trade and Regional Integration Minister Kasahuun Gofe told the Ethiopian News Agency that more than 1,000 trucks will commence transporting the goods from Adama Customs Station to the market. Highlighting the government's efforts to stabilize the market, he affirmed that there is adequate stock of consumer goods in customs. You're watching ABC World, a reminder of the top stories. East African military leaders called upon stakeholders to formulate mechanisms to overcome security problems in the region. And Cuba expresses need for African representation in the UN Security Council. That's all we had for now. I'm Tabitha John. Thank you for watching. Goodbye and do take care.